Hey there folks, welcome to the Forward Video Show where we explore all things DSLR. I'm your host, Mark Puckett. So I've had a few requests to compare the Zoom H1 to the Zoom H4N. I know there's a lot of other comparisons out there, but I do believe that my audience would probably benefit from a said comparison as well, so I'm here to do the deed and help you folks out. Now, I really want to go ahead and start off by saying that the comparison itself, there's really no comparison. They are two completely different animals. They're so different, both size and weight and build and durability, in my opinion. The price difference definitely reflects that. So without further ado, let's just go ahead, get these things together and get started. Well, as I said before, here we have the Zoom H1 and the Zoom H4N. As you can tell already, they are completely and totally different animals, not even the same design, not even made from the same material. The prices vary. Like I said, the H1 is about $100 and the H4N varies between $300 and $400. Now the Zoom H1 is made from a very cheap but light plasticky material. The Zoom H4N is very sturdy, well-constructed steel and very soft satiny rubber. The microphones, for the most part, are exactly the same. They both have an XY pattern. The XY pattern is extremely helpful in getting true stereo audio recordings. And I gotta admit, I've tried a lot of different microphones over the years. These have great sound quality. Both of them are decently well constructed. As you can see, the Zoom H1 only has like this plastic cage around it. It literally is built directly from the body of the microphone itself. It's not very sturdy. If you drop this from any real height, it is going to break. So while it does maintain the XY pattern, the H1 does not actually have the ability to rotate from the 90-degree pattern to the 120-degree pattern like the H4N does. As you can see, the H4N has sort of like this cross-cut on the microphones that essentially allows it to either concentrate the audio that it picks up in the 90-degree pattern, or it will allow you to twist the microphones into a 120-degree pattern so that you can kind of pick up more ambient sounds and noises in the room. It's very handy if you're doing, say, like a live band performance on stage and you need to kind of get a wider swath of audio. Moving right along to the left side of the H1, there's not much there. You basically have a line out or a headphone jack. You've got your volume, which is for the monitoring, and you have your card slot, which accepts micro SD. On the right-hand side of the unit, you've got a lot more action going on here. You've got your USB port, your power button, and your hold button. They're kind of built into one. It's kind of a slide mechanism. You've got your trash button, your rewind, your play, your pause, your fast forward, your input level, which actually controls the level of the recording that you're accepting either via the line in or the built-in microphones, and you also have a line in or microphone port. The line in jack is actually very useful if you want to use like a lavalier microphone and use it as a portable body pack. I use it like that all the time. Here on the front of the unit, you literally have just one button, and that is the record button. One button touch to start the recording and one button touch to end the recording. Can't get any simpler than that. On the left side of the H4N, you've got your remote control port, your headphone or line in monitoring jack. The volume buttons control that. You've got your USB port and your power button. On the right side of the H4N, you've got your SD card slot, your record level rocker, your menu button, and your scroll wheel plus clicker. The selector button essentially clicks when you're inside your menus. On the front of the unit, you've got your folder, file, speed, wave, and MP3. You've got your microphone inputs, whether it be the built-in microphones or the left or right channel of the balanced or XLR connectors on the bottom. You've got your stop, play, pause, fast forward, rewind, and your record button. On the bottom of the unit, you've also got balanced XLR and 1/4 jack inputs, and you also have a power cord plug so that you can have this thing being powered up even without your batteries. Now on the bottom of both of these units, they're completely and totally different sizes, build qualities, and textures, feels, materials, the whole thing. But you do have some external low cut, auto level, your record format, whether it be WAV or MP3 on the H1. On the Zoom H4N, you do see that you have a stamina on and off. But the biggest difference between these two is that you can tell that on the H1 it is a plastic thread where you would attach it to a 1/4 threaded bolt, whereas on the H4N you have a metal thread, which is going to last. The H1 is not going to last. If you miss thread even one time, you're going to mess it up. That plastic thread is going to strip out and it's going to be done forever. The one advantage that it does have over the H4N is that every operation is hardware. It's a button, it's a switch, whereas the Zoom H4N, while it does have this metal thread, everything except for the major operations of this unit, you're going to have to dig through a menu to find it. So for ease and convenience, the H1 is a great choice. Okay, so I have both the H4N and the H1 on a couple stands here. They're about the exact same distance from my mouth. We're in the exact same room, the exact same environment. So I figured this would probably be a pretty good way in order to test each of the microphones out. Especially considering this one is going to range anywhere from about $300 to $400, and this one is about $100. So they don't really look the same at all, as you can obviously see, but I got to admit that from what I can tell so far, these are pretty good microphones all on their own. So let's do a little light reading and see how they do. My husband arranged it all. We agreed to rent out a hotel suite with 2 other couples, 6 of us in total. That's a lot. I dressed in a sexy, tight-fitting red dress that pushed my breasts, and it was careful to leave off the panties. Arriving at the suite, one other couple was already there. The room was luscious. A jacuzzi was steaming in the corner. At floor level, the double French doors led onto a large balcony. In the center was the super king-size bed. We greeted the other couple, Jack and Amanda. It was slightly awkward at first, but the champagne and the thought of effing them, I'm a clean kind of guy, soon turned the atmosphere into a pleasant one. After Russell and Chrissy arrived, we were soon talking dirty. It was Jack to make the first move by kissing his wife. I could feel Ben's arm encircling me and his other reaching for one of my teats. You know what I mean. And gently squeezing. He was whispering dirty talk into my ear of what he was going to do to me. Fisting? Now wasn't that interesting? Another great thing about this particular microphone is that you can literally use it as an interview type microphone. The only real drawback is that once you get your hand settled on the unit, you had better not move a muscle. Because I gotta be honest, every little finger movement, every rustle will completely and totally be picked up, and it's gonna ruin the audio. So if you're gonna hold it, for God's sakes, please don't move your fingers at all. Like here, I'll show you. It's not very good. But if you can go ahead and get your hands in place before you begin to do the interview, then you'll be just fine. You just literally cannot move anything once you actually get a hold of it. Otherwise, you might as well just go ahead and start over because your audio will in fact be ruined. Sorry. So with the Zoom H4N, technically you can do the same thing, but it just looks awkward. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I seriously don't think that I want to be walking around going, "Hey man, can you tell me something about something?" No. I think I'm going to skip this one as far as being used as a handheld microphone, but it still seems to suffer from some of the exact same handling noises as the other one. I wouldn't say that it's as bad because the construction is a lot better. You've got the internal steel frame, so it feels just more rugged and sturdy in the hands. The outer quality is a bit like rubbery, almost like a satin rubber, so it's very comfortable to hold. So it doesn't have that inherent plasticky sound anyway. But as long as you can keep your fingers in a comfortable position while you're doing it, there's absolutely no reason that you couldn't use it as a handheld microphone. I just think it looks stupid. As a value add, I wanted to go ahead and weigh both the units. I started off with the H4N, and it came in at a total of 367 grams, or 12.9 ounces. So not quite a pound, almost though. Overall, it's a very hefty unit. It feels very substantial in the hands. The H1 only comes in at 95 grams. It's an extremely light unit. 3.3 ounces. It's extremely light, so it has a multitude of awesome uses simply because it doesn't weigh you or your equipment down. And because of its extremely lightweight, you can easily slip it in your pocket and it's not going to be a burden to you whatsoever. And because of its extremely lightweight, it makes it ideal for run and gun style videographers when you just don't want to mess around with the really awful internal audio of your camera. You can always mount this thing directly to the top of your camera and point this thing in the direction of your audio source, and you're going to get extremely good secondary audio. I mean, it's not going to be that great if you are at any good distance away from your subjects, but it's still going to be massively better than the onboard audio that your camera is going to provide you. Now, if you try to do this with the H4N, which I actually have done in the past, it's just too much weight. So this, as a good like shotgun microphone, is still going to be about $50 cheaper than the Rode VideoMic or the Rode VideoMic Pro. So there you have it, and there you go. I hope you guys found all this information useful and handy for all your purposes and needs. So if you will, please come be our friends and our pals over on Facebook and Twitter. Look us up on via.me as well. Been really enjoying that site still. And they're giving me a t-shirt. I'll wear it sometime when I finally get it in the mail. So anyway, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett. I'll see you kids again next time. Bye-bye.